My purpose is not tied to my profession. My purpose is tied to what I want to achieve for the world and for other people.
Pick a path and walk it. To not delay on taking an action. You see something, explore it, go for it, watch it unravel.
So I always tell people, find your passion, set up your path, set up that goal, and then pull out the map.
Because I think one thing that really sets people back is that they believe that they have to do everything on their own. That then turns into incredible anxiety. You don't have to.
I am the main character. I'm just going to go and I'm going to consciously today, it's gonna be a great day. And I know that I have it in me and I will show the world that I have something great to offer. What's up, underdogs? In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to build confidence naturally so that you can attract wealth, opportunities, and relationships. So, welcome to yet another episode, and thank you so much for being a listener. For being an active listener, for reviewing this. We keep on getting reviews, we keep on getting positive feedback from you. And we're so happy because we do all of this literally to help you go from an underdog to an industry leader and achieving that financial freedom that we all desire. And so, Robert, today we're talking confidence, something that everyone needs to have more of in their life. And I just want to kick this off with a question. It's how important do you think confidence is in building wealth and attracting opportunities and attracting great people in your life?
That's such a good question. Yeah, I mean, the importance of it. Well, I mean, do you want to attract all of the things that we've just said in your life? Do you want more people in your life? Then, if you do, yes, it's highly important. If you want to attract better connections, if you want to attract better people, then confidence is the key here. So, incredibly important would be my answer there. And to touch upon that, I mean, who wants to be friends, or who wants to be acknowledged with somebody who just doesn't seem like they're happy with what they're doing, that doesn't seem passionate about what it is that they do? Not a lot of people. So confidence comes, and this is like my point I'm going to end on here, is that confidence comes with a lot of passion. And I would love for us to kind of touch more on that. And so when I say confidence comes with passion, what does that mean to you, Alec?
Well, confidence comes with passion. It's a great way to kick this on because if you have passion, surely you have more confidence in. And I say that because, and again, we're going to touch on the concept of the ikigai, right? Passion leads usually to expertise, so expertise leads to passion, right? Because if I'm not great at something, I most surely won't enjoy it. But if I'm actually great at something, it tends to become my passion. So it all comes down to, right, if you're doing the same job for the past 20 years and you're never achieving any results, you're going to lose your confidence and you're going to lose your passion, because every single time people look at you and they say like, hey, like you're terrible at that, right? And everyone wants to win in life. And so if you want to win at something, you need to have passion, and that passion will build the confidence, because every time you execute on it, you get better. That's like basically like practice makes the master. And so if you're going to be practicing a craft, you need to have passion, and that passion will build that confidence. This is
Mm.
exactly how I see it, Robert. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
I love that. Yeah, and so to jump into that as well, this is where I think confidence really comes into play, like having that passion in the first place. So,
Mm.
like when we talk about confidence, maybe it is that you want to meet somebody new, that you want to connect with someone new. You're going to appear 10 times more confident if you're passionate about wanting to meet and connect with that person in the first place. A lot of people see like networking as a chore, which from somebody who is coming from the position of an introvert, I do see networking as a chore. I
Mm.
see it and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be tough. And so, what's really important here is to think about why you're doing this in the first place and having real meaning behind wanting to meet someone new, behind wanting to network at a specific event. When you know why you want to do this, you become more passionate about it, and your passion trumps your confidence because you are so eager to want to be present in that moment.
I love that, and I think the key point here is that when you know why you're doing it, you also have a purpose. So I think this magic bean that we just discovered is like, hey, purpose does increase naturally your confidence. I don't know. Would you agree with me?
Oh, 100%. There should be a purpose behind, everything you do, because the moment that there's uncertainty, like if you sit there questioning yourself and wondering why the heck am I doing this in the first place, you're going to seem less confident because you're already in doubt about what it is that you're wanting to do. So therefore that confidence isn't there. And this is something that, I would encourage everyone to think about, is that, if you struggle with confidence, it's like, is your passion there in the first place to want to pursue this? Because immediately I really believe this, is that your passion trumps the need for confidence. I could say
Hmm.
that I am absolutely terrible at painting, okay, but if I have a passion to want to paint, then my confidence level is going to rise because I'm so passionate about wanting to get great at it. Or if I'm at a networking event and I'm terrible at speaking with people, and I truly believe I'm terrible at speaking with people at times, but if I'm passionate about the person I'm speaking with, that confidence goes out the window because I'm like, no, this is somebody who I've aspired to want to talk to for a while now. And so I have so much that I would love to ask them, to learn from them. And it starts to switch the ball, starts to change it around a little bit.
Mm. So, underdogs, we have three key components here that we already discovered. Okay. And that is purpose, passion, and confidence. And those three, they kind of seem to go together. And here's the thing, if you have identified a purpose, usually that is fueled by your passion, and when that is fueled by your passion, you have the confidence that, hey, if I pursue it, right, because of how much I am putting into it, you're naturally going to get better. Okay. Now, if you're lost and you're just wondering, okay, well, it almost reminds me of that scene of Pulp Fiction, right? In which like John Travolta just enters and he's like confused. He's looking around, right? You are lost, okay, because you don't have that purpose, that why that will stimulate that for you. So I want us to kick this on to the roots, Robert, and I want us to tell people, right? How did you find your purpose? How did we find our purpose? And how can they find it?
Mm, I love this. Well, for me, purpose has been a a process of discovery, and you do need to take some time to work with yourself, like have some time to actually think, well, what is it that I want to do? And my personal experience, when I, like, for example, when I left my corporate job, I initially thought that because of like my skill set, that like I wanted to start running like my own design agency. And after about 2 months of doing that, I realized that wasn't where I wanted to be. That's not what I wanted to do. And so finding purpose is a process, and I feel like your purpose adapts as you go on. So it's about picking a path that you believe you're going to be most happy with, that you love the idea, that excites you, that you can be paid for, um, and walking that route and seeing how the journey unravels, that's how I went about it, right? It was a process of discovery for me, and I always say, like, it's a continuous journey. I can never assume to know what I'm going to be doing in 10 years. However, I have a very good plan of what I'd love to do, and so I kind of say, well, this is the direction, let's see how it goes and how that story starts to unravel. So to really condense this into like how to really find that purpose, pick a path and walk it. That is the best piece of advice I can give, is to not delay on taking an action. If you see something, explore it, go for it, and watch it unravel.
And I love that because I've been on a similar path, and it's many people don't know this about me, but I started as an artist, and I always wanted to be that person that, hey, like, I'm on stage and like I'm in front of people, and so I used to be an actor, and many people don't know
Mm,
that. And I wondered for so many years, is this exactly the thing that I want to pursue? Because I even got a career in it, and I graduated, and I was like, hey, like, I'm enjoying this, but is that my purpose? Is that what I want? And I discovered that my purpose is not tied to my profession. My purpose is tied to what I want to achieve for the world and for other people. And that was bringing people to a better level, helping them be happier, helping them to conquer new emotions, and adding to their happiness. And so for me, that turned immediately into like, hey, like, I don't need to be tied to my profession. I can just
mm,
explore so many other paths that still bring me close to my mission. And this is how I discovered that my mission is actually to help 1 million underdogs, people who are in a disadvantaged position, to become financially stress free. Because with this, I'm achieving my personal purpose of bringing more happiness and joy to the world. And so I started as an actor, and now I am a coach, right? And I hate the word coach, right? But I speak to people and I just tell them about my experience in my life. And so it's exactly about that, as Robert mentioned, is pick up your path, walk it. And I think you will agree with me when I say that the future will shape you. Sometimes you don't even know what's going to happen. Because for me, it's always been like, well, I didn't expect to become that. The future
mm.
shaped me.
You touched on a really important point, and this is something that I wish I knew when I started business, and that is that you need to have a mission. If you don't know what your point is, like what you would like to achieve when you show up online, when you show up doing the work that you do, it's all for nothing. There's no impact of your efforts. And so deciding what you want your mission to be, who you want to impact, how you want to impact them, how many people you want to impact, this gives you greater clarity on what you need to be doing in order to help you find that purpose in life.
Absolutely. And just last week, I was speaking with a friend. She's a great entrepreneur, and she started basically from nothing. And she started just selling clothes, and then she started, an agency because she was doing so great in marketing. And I met with her, and I was like, "Hey, what is your goal for this year?" And for some reason, people hate speaking about money. They are like, oh my god, like, I cannot share my goal because people will think, like, if I say 100,000, they're like, 100,000, that's a lot. Or some people will say that's not a lot. And so when I asked her, she was like, well, I haven't really thought about it because it's not about the money. I'm like, but it is about the money, because if you don't have a goal, then you're feeling less confident in your abilities naturally because you don't have a clear direction. You don't even know if you're doing well, if you're not doing well. So set up your goals and have a clear path, have a clear direction of like what is it you want to achieve. And if that is $100,000, get with it. What will it take?
Mm.
So I always tell people, find your passion, set up your path, okay, set up that goal, and then pull out the map. Here's how I will do it. And then just go for it.
I love that. I love that. One thing that immediately sprang to mind when you said, like, when people say, "Oh, it's not about the money," well, yeah, as you rightfully said, yes, it is. There needs to be some sort of financial income that supports the other goals that you want to achieve, and this is why it's really important to understand that there's lots of different types of goals that you can set for yourself, financial goals and also like emotional goals, right? So understanding like what you want to achieve emotionally from what it is that you're setting out to do. And so whenever I'm setting out goals, like I think to myself, okay, what are the tangible goals that I need to meet, and what are the numbers that I attach to those? So financially, how much money do I want to make? Based on the number of people, how many people do I want to reach? How many people do I want to impact? And then when I think of like emotional goals, again, the impact kind of falls into that as well. Is that like how many people do I want to impact, and what impact would I like to make on them? Like what would I love for these people to come out thinking about me after this whatever it is that I want to share with them has been shared? And also understanding like what do I get from this? Like emotionally, how do I want to feel? Like and being very clear on those goals that you set out so that by the end of it, you can look at your metrics, right? You can look at those indicators and say, I didn't achieve that. Why? I excelled at that. Why? And being so number oriented is going to help you track what it is that you're setting out to achieve. So I never go into anything without not knowing what am I measuring here.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic tip. It's like set up your goals clearly and set up not just any goal, set up tangible goals and set up non-tangible goals. And I will tell you one thing from our experience. It's especially in business as an entrepreneur, with every zero you add as a goal and with every zero you achieve, something just clicks. Okay, those first $1,000, those first $10,000, those first $100,000, when you have set it as a goal and then you achieve it, something just clicks for you. And guess what? When that thing clicks, it gives you the confidence because you set the goal and then you conquered that goal. And when you conquer your goals, oh, it's beautiful. And your confidence will naturally raise. And so
Absolutely.
it's super important to also acknowledge that many people, Robert, they struggle because they're not in a good position. They're starting in disadvantage. They are an underdog. Maybe they're lost and they don't know what they want to do with their life. Maybe they're completely broke and they don't have any financial support from their family. And they probably don't even have emotional support from family and friends. What would you say? And I'm putting here a great responsibility on your shoulders, but what would be the one advice that you give them? Right? How can they feel confident even if their situation is not the desired one?
This really is putting me on the spot, Alec.
Yeah.
Please note that all views expressed in this podcast are not to be taken as fact, okay? They are opinions. That's my clause right now. But okay, so like, this is coming from somebody who started out in an extremely disadvantaged position. So if I were to go back and tell my, let's say I'll go back as far as like my 15-year-old self. Okay, now my 15-year-old self had been through so many location changes due to just being in a family that was all over the place. And so I moved schools on a regular basis. I did not have a great education. My education was disrupted on a regular basis, so I came out of school with nothing. And
Mm.
so after coming out of school with nothing, I had two options. I could decide to allow my past to get the better of me and go down this path of continuing to have nothing, or I could decide to change that and to educate myself and to do better. And I chose the latter. I chose to put everything I could into educating myself. So once I left school with all D's and sometimes even U's, which means like ungraded, right? I got nothing.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was bad. I decided to retake all of like my essentials that were in school. I retook them all. I educated myself, and I basically took the test again to get like graded. And so I spent a lot of time re-educating myself to understand basic level capacities in English, etc. And I came out with great marks, not phenomenal distinctions or anything like that, but some were in the merits and some were like classed as A's or A plus. So that was phenomenal. So I was like, okay, I've got that. Now that I've got my essentials, I need more, because everybody knows that maths isn't going to get you everywhere in life. You do need more. And so I had to start realizing what path did I want to take in terms of like where I wanted to go. So for me, it was all about like educating myself. I really needed to, find everything that was going to fill the gaps in my confidence at that time, because I
Mm.
I didn't have everything.
So good.
Um, yeah, so for me, I'd start off by filling the gaps. That's really where I'd want to start. I'd try to pick apart my weaknesses and be very clear on what weaknesses I have that need to be filled, because some weaknesses frankly don't need to be filled. As I said, I came out of school with nothing, and to me, having nothing in science was not a very big deal for me, because I did not care for anything in science. Like, for me, the one thing that I knew that I did have was a passion for creativity. Even though I had very little time in school, I always knew that there was something about being artsy, and in drama as well, that I was actually quite good at. So like I wanted to explore the creative side of me, and that kind of gave me some sort of compass direction to kind of say, maybe that's where you should be going, because even though you sucked at everything, you actually got a D in art versus the U's everywhere else. So maybe that's the right direction you should take. So paying attention to those signs is really important, and finding something, if anything, that kind of like your heart kind of says, hey, maybe that's right. Maybe that's the right way to go. That's where I would start.
Wow, that was beautiful. And I think we've had a very similar journey in that sense, because I immigrated from Spain from Bulgaria to Spain when I was 9 years old,
Mm.
and I had to learn a totally new language. So starting at the beginning, everyone was mocking me, first of all, because I was always, even to this day, I speak with an accent. I am the
Yeah.
guy who has an accent in every single country that I go. And I always thought, oh my God, like everyone is just mocking my accent no matter where I go. And then I went to university in the UK, and I immigrated again, and it was my third, fourth language. And everyone was like, ha, he has an accent. And everyone kept seeing that as like part of my weaknesses. And it was, at some point, it was hurting my confidence. And I
Mm,
was very damaged. And I will never forget, like, I actually walked into the office of one of the main drama teachers that I had. And he said, "Hey, I just want to be honest with you. You are not going to make it too big in the industry, because just no one searches for your accent because it's extremely unique. You went from Bulgaria to Spain, and it's kind of like a mishmash, and like it just doesn't work for the industry." I was like, "Oh, okay. Uh, Thank you, I guess." And he was like, "No, like I just want to be honest with you." I was like, "Fine." Like, so that's one of the perspectives that it's on the table. And it's like, hey, my accent is obviously, a disadvantage for this person. But then I met this extremely successful artist who had an accent, and they were like, I always get the best roles and I always get the best opportunities because of my accent. And it's because my accent is my identity. And so I it's what makes me unique. So if you're
mm,
someone who looks and says like, "Hey, there is this thing about me that it's a little weird. Maybe I have a big nose, right? Maybe like my teeth are crooked and everyone is like laughing at me." Think about the fact that that also makes you extremely unique. You're that guy with the big nose. Listen, and so what? Okay? Because that is part of who you are, and it's part of your identity. And sometimes we need to embrace some of the things that naturally for some people are just not great. And other people, they're gonna love your big nose and they're gonna love my accent, I guess. And so that's totally fine too,
mm.
right?
It's yeah. I mean, it's all about how you perceive your weaknesses at the end of the day.
I love that.
Are they a weakness, or are they? Can they be turned into a strength? Because you'll very easily find that, like, let's talk about the topic of like physical appearances. Like, a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I got something like wrong with my nose, or
Mm.
like, oh, there's something wrong with my lips, or something like that. But if you have something that is so distinct that people comment on a regular basis, rather than considering it a weakness, like, try to think on how you can really own it. Because I remember that when I was a kid, people used to mock my nose all of the time. Like, they'd go, "It's such a weird shape." So like, it's really odd, like, looking, right? And like that, like, really hit my confidence. And I used to think that there was something wrong with me. And it took an incredibly long time, like, for me to like just think, well, whatever. Yeah, I've got a weird nose. And it took so long for me to do that. And it then got to the point where people started to, like, because people are very judgmental on appearance,
Yeah.
whether you're 7 years old or 70 years old. Like,
Oh
people
yeah.
judge you. People judge books by their cover on a daily basis. It's how you embrace, how you take those judgments, that really defines you, and how others will respond to you after. So the moment that you hear like negative feedback or things like that, like, it's like if somebody says, "Oh, you look weird," question that. Why? How do I look weird? And like, and starting to understand, like, being very self-aware about yourself and about these flaws that people say that you have. And for those listening and not watching right now, I do the finger gesture, and call them flaws, because they're not really flaws. And really trying to understand, like, what makes them weak, and then what makes them weaknesses, and then turning it on its head, embracing it, and watch people's attitude change towards you. Because people are going
Mm.
to be like, "Oh, like, the guy with the big nose," you're like, "Yeah, honk honk," and then people are like, "Oh, he doesn't care." Their strength has been taken away from them because they can no longer use your weakness as a weapon. And so they start to be like, they start to see the positive side of what they thought before wasn't great.
Uh-huh. That's it. And so you can absolutely change also how you appear. And I will say that a lot of people, they live in a body that they dislike, and they look at themselves in the mirror and they're like, oh my god, like, like I really hate my nose. I don't know why we picked noses. It's just that topic of the day. It's like bad noses, right?
That's what it
But
is.
if you genuinely dislike your body and your physical appearance, it's also in your hands to mold yourself into the person that you want to be for in the future. And so right now we live in an era in which, hey, aside from plastic surgeries, there are some great gyms that you can go to and you can take action, and you can be like, hey, like I'm gonna transform myself and mold myself into the person that I want to be. And so I encourage everyone, like, if you feel like you have less confidence because you're unhappy with your physical appearance, is thinking like, what can you do about it? And actually,
Mm.
I heard it from this dating coach, and she mentioned that, hey, like, by the way, up to 30% of improvement comes down to doing just three simple things. And one of them is going to the gym, working out a little bit, and then the second is like literally fixing your hairstyle. So if you feel like you lack confidence, here's my recommendation. Like, just go fix your hair. Okay. And frankly, like when I go and like I fix my beard and I fix my hair and I put like a nice suit on, I already feel so much different. Right. And
Mm.
I think we covered, right, like that physical appearance. And now I want to also cover, right, the mental aspect, Robert. Because so many people like, cool, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be the best version of myself, I'm gonna get my suit on, I'm gonna get my hairstyle, I'm gonna
Mm.
really be that person. But then I
Mm.
still lack confidence, especially when it comes to perhaps building my business, showing my talent, speaking with people, right? So this next part is for you underdogs to understand how you can thrive despite the pressure and despite not having enough confidence to showcase your talents, speak with people, and attract opportunities in your life. Okay, so first of all, massive thank you, by the way, for everyone who keeps on listening to us. It's just fantastic sharing this with you. It feels like this family is growing every day, and your support is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, massive thank you to you all. And also, before I say before we jump into the more mental aspects of building confidence. However, what you mentioned about working out, about working on your body, about literally fixing your hairstyle, these do tie into the mental aspects, because
Mm,
if only you knew how powerful just a 15-minute workout in the morning would do for your confidence, based on the boost of dopamine that you're going to get from that
yes.
workout. And so, we think of like exercise as like a physical aspect, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're just making your body look bigger. But no, like, what it does for your mind, what it does for your energy in the day,
Mm,
is just it's incredible. Like, you do a couple of sit-ups, do a couple of press-ups, go for a little bit of a run. You come back, you come home, and it just feels like you're ready to take on the world. You're like, your mind's prepped, your body's ready, you feel healthy, you look healthy, right? And so that in your mind is sending you so many positive signals to already feel infinitely more confident. And so
ah,
I wanted to really jump and basically retouch on that, as that it's just not just a physical aspect of building confidence. Working out is a mental aspect too, as is your appearance. Is doing something as simple as just trimming your beard, cutting your hair, giving it that new style. You feel different, and you feel new, you feel fresh. And so psychologically in your mind, you're like, wow, I look really good, I feel good. I feel
Mm.
confident. And
Yeah.
so immediately covering that mental aspect to
Yeah.
everything that we covered physically applies to building mental confidence for yourself.
Absolutely. And what Robert just covered is psychologically proven, okay? Like whenever you work out, you release dopamine, and dopamine just makes us feel much better about ourselves. In fact, I'm going to share a fun fact, and it's
Yeah.
I go to the gym 6 times a week, and I don't work out chest every day, except I do. And I do that because I have identified that, hey, like I love feeling my chest pumped up with blood and like feeling bigger. And for me, that does wonders for my confidence. So the first exercise I do is I literally enter and I just do push-ups. No matter if it's leg day, no matter if it's back day, I just do push-ups. And now I can go with a little bit more confidence just because my chest is fully pumped. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I do, but it boosts my confidence immediately. Okay. And so this is again, it's the dopamine rush that I get from working out chest every day, and I embrace it and I love it. And so you should probably try it out too, and then say like, yeah, it feels good. Oh,
Totally.
yeah. So on to the mental aspect, which we already started. And underdogs, it's all about, I heard it from a very good friend of ours, Eva Lordia. And she said to me the other day, we have this weekly mentorship that we do with each other. She said, Alec, you need to understand one thing, and it's you are the main character in your film. Like you are the main character. All the rest of the people, they are just secondary characters, but you are the one building what you have. And so, if you want that film to be a great one, then hey, you're the director and you're the main character. So, make conscious choices to feel better. And so, start thinking, what is the conscious choice that I can make in order to feel better? And oftentimes, the answers are deep inside you. And once you discover those, oh, it's going to do wonders for your confidence. And so I really, really liked that. And it's like, oh my God, I am the main character and you are the main character. And we all have that film. And so think think about, what type of character do you want to be? Do you want to be a miserable character? Do you want to walk and shrink? Do you want to just never be known for anything good? Just think about like those characters that you watch on Netflix, and they're just like, they're forever sad and they're forever the victim, and it's never their fault because life just treats them bad. How do they end up living? They end up just being miserable and alone. And oftentimes we need to think from that director's perspective and that bird's eye view, and say like, I am the main character. I'm just going to go and I'm going to consciously today, like, it's going to be a great day. And I know that I have it in me, and I will show the world that I have something great to offer. And so for me, uh, this was a life changing conversation that I had with Eva.
I love that. The main point that I took away from that is that, like you need to know what you want. Like, what's the point? I love that analogy of like, you're the main character of your own film, and being able to put yourself in that mindset where you say to yourself, okay, well, how do I want this movie to run? What do I want to happen in this movie? Because nobody
Mm.
says to themselves, I want to build a movie that's all about being sad, depressed, and not being great at anything. That wouldn't make for a great film. Let's face
Ah.
it, like we all have like something in our lives where we're like, hey, like, wouldn't it be nice to, and then fill in the blanks there, like what would it be
Mm.
nice to have in your life, what would it
Yeah.
be nice to do in your life,
Yeah.
and being very clear. And, again, we talked a lot about goal settings. Know what the hell you want. Like, what do you want in your life? Who do you need to have in your life to support that? These are really important factors that play a lot in the mental aspects, because, the right people in your life will tend to determine like what path you take. There are going to be people who help you, there are going to be people who hinder you. Being very aware of those people who help or hinder is going to decide how your movie plays. If you keep attracting a lot of Thanoses in your life who just want to snap your happiness away, then you're going to live a very poor life. But if you're going to surround yourself with, our good old pal Iron Man, God bless, heart goes out, or, your Thors in your life, then you're going to have people who lift you up, who bring you to a place where you can be happier. And so, understanding who is in your life really helps with like your direction, where you go in life. So that's one thing I would really consider when trying to, build out what I want from life, is know who I want in my life.
Ooh, that was so good, And if you're
Mm.
watching this on YouTube right now, you saw me like basically laughing and smiling and being like, oh, that was good. And it's because, it sounds very cliche when people say your network is your net worth. Tell me your four best friends and I'll tell you who you are. But it's the reality. It's the reality,
Mm.
underdogs. Is choose people who add to you. Choose innovators who want to build empires, not just energy vampires. Because at the very end, we're all in this world for a limited time. And so, how do you want to live that time? Is do you want to be with the guys who are just miserable all the time and they put excuses, or do you want to just go grab that thing and show to the world that you can actually contribute and that you have something to offer? And I think it all comes down to exactly that: is what can you offer to other people? Many people think that confidence stems from like being great and like everyone giving you. It actually comes from giving to them, because when you're capable of giving value to people in any realm, you become of great use, and so people respect you and people love you. And it's the same on social media and on the offside. If you're someone who is funny and you can entertain, people will love you both on social media and in real life. If you're someone who is capable of inspiring people and telling them, listen, you are incredible, guess what? People will love you both on social media and in real life. And so you can build a business with it, or you can also, just use it to have better friends. And so at the very end, it we've done a full circle by saying you need to educate yourself and stack those skills. And something really interesting that I saw, Robert, is like, hey, if you are just a marketer and you're an extremely good marketer and you're like in the 20% of best marketers, you're just an average person. If you are a marketer who is great at psychology, okay, now you're suddenly in the 10% of people. Now, if you're a great marketer, okay, who is incredible at psychology, but who also knows how to persuade and sell, now you're suddenly in the 2%. And now put all of this together and stack those skills, you become suddenly the 0.05%. You become more valuable, people search more of you, and therefore your confidence will raise and stack those
Mm.
skills.
I love that you've mentioned that, and it's such a weird coincidence because I was on a coaching call with the client today, and she was trying to find what direction that she wanted to take in her life, because she's like at a crossroad right now where she
Mm.
loves what she does. However, she wants to create several businesses, and she's a little bit uncertain on the direction she's taking her online presence at the moment. And so, for me, it was that literally came up where, like, we're essentially stacking her skills right now in order to find which of
Yeah.
those skills add the most relevance to the goal that she's setting out for herself, like what she wants to achieve. And then you start building, this skill set for this outcome that puts you, as you say, like, it puts you ahead of the 99.95% of
Boom.
people that are out there. It's what helps you find what differentiates you. So not only stacking those skills is important here, but also understanding which skills are relevant. So having a real deep dive into your skills and saying, okay, so I have this, and this. How does this help other people achieve that?
Hmm. Hmm. This is fantastic. This is fantastic, and this is why we always encourage every single one of you to go out and to learn. It doesn't even have to be learning from our content that we post daily, but learning from
Mm,
the people who are out there who are dedicating so many hours for you on YouTube, on podcasts such as this one, that teach you literally how to be better in life, how to be happier. And yeah, 100 years ago, you just couldn't do that. And now you have a unique opportunity to get inside our mind and discover all the secrets that we have. And, we're always happy to share exactly how we've done it with the hope that it will serve you. And so for me, I would say one thing, and it's in every realm of my life, at certain point, I've been not confident. I've been kind of miserable. I've
mm,
been scared. I've been worried. And so things changed when I physically changed. And when I decided, like, hey, what will happen if I just go inside that room and I go like the main character? How would that look like? And if you've watched main characters, they have that type of aura and energy around them. And so even during the second week of being going to the gym and being this small little person, I started just walking in there like I've been lifting for years. I was like, listen, I don't care how big the rest of the guys are. In my head, I'm the biggest, I'm the baddest, and I'm just gonna walk with that main character energy and not with just like the secondary person that no one pays attention to. And things just started to change because people are like, hey, like, look at that person. Like, they love themselves. And you can see they have that confidence about them, they have that aura of attraction. So, work also on the way you present yourself in front of people and what makes you comfortable, right? What puts you in the zone of like, now I feel confident. Now I feel comfortable with who I am. And this is how I walk. And this is how I communicate. This is how I talk. And this allows me to be the best version. For me, it's walking like the main character. It's being like in my head, like saying, like, hey, I'm just gonna go in there and I will do my thing, right? And that comes to business, that comes to walking into places, but feel that energy inside you and get it out to the world.
yeah, something that really sprang to mind here when you shared your story of how, like, when you first went into the gym and how you chose to present yourself. It says a lot. It says a lot about confidence, and I wish I knew this before, but this kind of ties in a little bit to the story I shared earlier, which was, whenever you, like, if you struggle with confidence or you're unconfident in, is unconfident a word? I don't know. But if you're not confident in something, like you're at this road where it's your time to choose a path, you know? And going back to that analogy of you are the main character in your film, you choose a path. You choose to go down the right of good, or you choose to go down the right of bad. You either choose knowing that by allowing great people to be in your life, by taking decisions that make you feel better about yourself, by mentally preparing yourself, saying, do you know what? I know I'm new to this. I know I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but you know what? I want to, put across that I am very confident and I'm ready to do this. You have that choice. You have that choice to do good. Or you have the choice to go down the other side, which is, I'm going to surround myself with negativity. I'm going to look like, I'm having the worst time of my life, and I'm going to give up and I'm going to quit and never do it anymore. Now there is a nice middle ground. You can be
So good.
unconfident in, like, and taking the gym for an example. You can be in the middle ground where you say to yourself, I want to learn this. I want to become better. I want to build my body. However, I don't know how. Who can teach me? And that's your middle ground. Finding someone that can help you. And again, taking that good side of people that can help you where you believe that you don't have the strengths. All again, this is like one beautiful movie playing out, is the main character of their story, which is you, doesn't do it on their own. They find people that support what it is that they're trying to achieve, and they use their strengths to boost their own. They delegate their weaknesses to somebody who knows how to do it better than them. This is why, superheroes as a team work great. Because, can the Hulk fly? No, he can't. So what does he do? Yo, Iron Man, you got a jet suit. Let's go. Although Hulk didn't have that conversation, let's face it. But I'm using Avengers analogies here. You find what people can do well if you believe that, you know what, I'm not great at this. It's going to take me a very long time, or if not impossible. And you choose to find people with the strengths that you don't have to either learn for them or get them to do it in your place.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And I guess what Robert is trying to say here is sometimes you need mentors and sometimes you need coaches to show you the path. And sometimes you need someone to just give you the map. And something that we explain always to our clients is, hey, you don't need us. None of you need us. Okay. But this is as if I went ahead and told you, hey, we actually buried like $5 million somewhere in America. And we just left you to search for it and dig for it and find it on your own. I mean, it's gonna take you time. But what if I gave you the map and told you, here is exactly where we buried $5 million. And now you have the map to $5 million, because guess what? We've walked there, we've been there, we've done that, we buried it, we know where it is. Okay. And now we can just give you the map. And once you have the map, things become easier. And this applies to absolutely everything in life. And I see a lot of people, they think that they're doing well. And just because they're doing well, they live in that comfort zone. They say, well, I'm already doing well. I don't need anyone to help me. I don't need a mentor. I don't need a coach. Listen, guys, I've been going to the gym for now about 9 months, I think, something around that. And I told that I was working out well. And recently I decided to hire a coach. And guess what? They're a world champion and they're an European champion. And they're this very well known bodybuilder. And am I going to assume that I know better than them? I was working out like shit. Okay. And just because someone new came and gave me this perspective, they opened my mind to the realm of possibilities that I have. And they also showed me the good parts about me. And so sometimes you need other people to show you what are you good at and to help you be better at it. Sometimes you need coaches and mentors to give you that hand so that you can fly. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, 1000%. And again, and looking at all these things, I know that we've been very analogy focused throughout this, but the point is that, finding those skill sets that complement your own, that maybe you're lacking, and finding people that have those qualities to help your confidence grow. Because I think one thing that really sets people back is that they believe that they have to do everything on their own.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that then turns into incredible anxiety that, oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I don't know how to do financing and bookkeeping for my business. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. You don't have to. You find the people that have those qualities, that can see the potential, the value that you have to add to their own life, and then you collaborate together to fill in each other's weaknesses. And you're
Yeah.
basically building one great big team to pursue a greater goal. And
Love
that
that.
really leads me to
Yeah, and on that note, quick warning: do not choose someone with a small ass if you want to build a thick ass. If you want to lose weight, do not work with a fat coach. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. But do not, if you want to build a 100,000 of an online audience, then choose someone who has 100,000 of an audience, okay? Or they have built it for someone else. Because otherwise, you know, you are risking being robbed of your money. And so choose your coaches and mentors wisely because they're so very important to your journey. And hey, underdogs, this has been wonderful. Before we sign off, I want to give a quick recap of everything that we've spoken because I felt like this conversation can change so many of your lives. And so it's important, if you didn't grasp any of the concepts directly, that you go back and that you explore each one of them. Okay, because today we spoke about how to naturally raise your confidence. And we started with the question of like, is it important to build your confidence in order to attract wealth, in order to attract opportunities, and in order to attract relationships? Okay. And so we covered that up. We also spoke about both the physical appearance and physical acts that you can do by maybe pulling even your shoulders back and just looking like the main character in a film, and also about the mental aspects and what it means psychologically for you to feel better, okay, that dopamine rush. And we gave you actionable tips to also deal with your insecurities, whether those are physical or whether those come from the situation in which you are. And finally, we also spoke about how you can go directly from being broken in a disadvantaged position, being an underdog, to being an industry leader, just like Robert did it. And so I just want to thank everyone from my side for listening, for being here, for growing in that family. We are only capable of doing so because of you, because you share this podcast, because you rate this podcast, and because you support us every time. And so, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Robert, did I miss anything?
No, that was wonderful. And again, I think we're always immensely grateful for everyone who tunes into our podcast and supports what we do. We do this for you. We really care about your own success. And so, for all of you who listen all the way here, we love you. We appreciate you. And hey, look, even if you didn't make it here, of which you wouldn't be listening right now, we appreciate you too, because we appreciate anyone who even tunes in for 5 minutes. Anything we have to offer is going to be of help to someone. So we're immensely grateful to anyone who listens to us.
And underdog, remember that we believe in you even if no one else does. And we're here for you with every episode. We're going to see you in the next one. And thank you once again.
See you in the next one.